Now, let's scout out our stuff while we're waiting. So we have some copper here, tin, copper. Iron would be the best to get, but you can still get that through just straight mining. You just don't get as much of it. Veins give you more of a chance. I believe that's copper as well. That's tin. And you can get bronze with copper and tin, but iron is usually better, and it doesn't take long to get to iron with the blacksmith. So we have some iron there. We also have lots and lots of coal, which will be nice for creating steel, which is the next tier after iron. So, also with this bunny statue, I know you can get quite a bit of stone out of it, but since we're already mining, I'd like to leave it there for aesthetics. I think it looks really cool. And sometimes I create like little pantheons around them. So we'll see if we do that this time. And of course, you usually don't need it the first day, especially with food. But we're actually doing pretty good on food for first day. And we need to get a second building up fast. So let's get a dining hall. I usually like to start off with the dining hall and the shared sleeping quarters. We'll just put it right there. Yeah. Build. Yeah, start building. Alright, carpenter level 3 for Arwen. Let's see what he has queued. So now he has the rest of the dining stuff done, and he's level 3, so now he'll start making fine works, which will be good for selling. I usually don't use those. Every once in a while I will. Maybe with like fine beds. Fine comfy beds. He doesn't make fine hard mean beds. So, alright. Here's where we start selling things, like these fine large crates. Which looks like that's all we have for selling right now. We're also going to use those crates, the non-fine ones. The non-fine ones to do storage outside of the stockpile, because one stockpile looks messy and it can also provide lag, and definitely for a recording you don't want that. So we have 24 gold. We might as well buy a bolt of leather, but generally what I like to buy is habots. So I'm actually not going to get that for now. Let's see if we just got any more. Nope. Okay. Goodbye. Sylvan Rook. Trapper level 1. Alright. So, I believe it's time to cut down a few more trees. Cut down that one. Apparently you can't do that. You have to do it at the base of the tree. It has to hit part of the trunk. Now, usually towards the end I like to replant some of the trees, because it looks nice and it kind of makes you feel guilty, like you're participating in deforestation, which is not something we want right now. And we can also harvest this bush for more food. And we can look at how our tunnel's coming, or not coming. And I believe that is all we need to do for right now. So now that we have our town started, we just need to wait so we can get some more town buildings. In fact, I think I will, because they're almost done. So now what we want to do is get up this carpenter house, which looks very nice. I love the way that they did this, and we're also probably going to have a pathway going to the left of it down to the next level. And we'll probably just have a ladder going up the mountain, but sometimes a stairway looks nice, custom-made stairway. Alright, place you down, build. Yes, start building. Okay. So now the carpenter will be working on that. Check in on this, so now I have our 4 beds there. Sometimes, after we get more beds, I will assign them to certain people, because 1, that makes them happier, and 2, I'll do it once we have enough people, because we don't want people sleeping on the ground. They prefer if they were to sleep in a bed than if they had to sleep on the ground, even if it was a shared bed. And with this latest update, Alpha 20, you really want to depend on your Hearthling's mood, because it can help their efficiency. And often what I've found is that you still will deal with glum and at times when you're being attacked forlorn moods, but they usually go away after a little while until you can provide luxuries for them instead of. It's not like they're surviving. They're still working and they're still expanding their town, and they still understand the aspect that they need food, but it's not. We're surviving. We have to depend on berries for food. We're sleeping in comfy beds, and we have lots of food. We're making luxurious buildings and aesthetics, not just for personal need and survival. Still waiting on a door. And while we're at it, let's assign a tunnel door. Now, one thing interesting about the tunnel door that I found over a little while of playing this game is that tunnel doors sort of imitate walls to hostile creatures like orcs and goblins. If you were to put safety standards in this cave over with a tunnel door right here, they wouldn't know where you were whatsoever. And so you can pretty much protect yourself. I mean, yes, they'll wait outside, but for some reason they don't register that it's a door, because some mobs or creatures will attack doors, fence gates, double doors, but tunnel doors, it's like it's a wall. They don't even register that they can go through it. They don't register that they can attack it. So I don't know if that's a bug or not, but for now it's kind of a useful strategy for if you move your camp standard, which is where they go during town alert mode. If you hid that in here while enemies were coming and you didn't have anything to fight them with, you could pretty much just hide them in there and hibernate them, especially if you had all your items in there, which we'll be working on once they have dug that out more. And it'll just be really nice. Why did I accept that? That's a terrible deal. Well, we'll do it this way. We'll make it, but if we don't want to end up doing the deal, then I'll just sell these. But yeah, you could live in a tunnel. You could basically build buildings on a tunnel, because you can carve it out using ladders and such. Or you can go down, which would be simply easier. But you can start to build buildings and stuff. You could create a village in the mountain, which we might even do like a little area in the mountain, because I think that might look cool. I'm not sure. I've never actually done it, but we could see how it looks. Our computer is now level 4. Let's see. I don't think that unlocked a whole lot of things. You know, how's the archer's bow and the rough wooden shield. I'm gonna make that, even though we don't have a footman yet, because it's just better prepared. We don't need to wait to make that. And we're also gonna make about 4 defense and 1 fence gate. I usually like to use those for the shepherd pens, which I don't usually upgrade my trapper into a shepherd for a little while. Just because I find it better to have that kind of food instead of trying to sustain feed using the cook from the for the animals. And right now I especially need that farmer, because while cook can farm, he can't farm while he's cooking. He's being used, and so he can't multitask. So we have to depend on this one farmer to provide our sources of food, because we can't live on 5 berry bushes. Even if we went and gathered all these berry bushes, I mean, well, all of them, yeah. But one, that would take a lot of time. 2, it would look messy, and it frankly just isn't worth it. Bring out a little bunny. Is this our pet? No. Okay. What level is our trapper? Level 1. He can get pets at level 2. Okay. Once they're done with this building, I'm gonna wait for them to mine out the cave. And then we can start putting in our crates, because I don't like to have this cluttered too much in the beginning, or else it takes forever to get it cleared out, and it's just an eyesore more than anything. But crates also protect from goblin raiding parties. And speaking of raiding parties, we have some entlings. They should be easy. That's a lot of entlings, though. I think there's one over here. That's coming. Yeah. What is there? 7 or 8? Should be fine. I don't know why the saw doesn't work so well against entlings. I mean, they are made out of wood. Just one strike and they have a deep cut through them. And again, they don't bleed unless they have sap in them. Alright. So they will automatically loot those, which I believe is one of the best features that they added, even though it's so small. It makes things so much easier, because then every once in a while something will get a loot, which is usually due to the fact that it was like dropped by a goblin, like they claimed it, but it's no longer yours, and they were taking it from your stockpile, say, and they're running back to the camp. You kill them, they drop that, it's no longer registered as yours sometimes. Sometimes it is. It's an alpha game. You can't expect everything to be perfect. But as an alpha game, I believe this is a pretty good one. As I usually don't write reviews for Steam games, but it takes a lot for me to want to make the effort to write something that most people probably won't even read. But when I feel like a game is so good, I usually write one for it. I mean, the only other one I've written it for has been Terraria, which I think is also a phenomenal game. Okay, it looks like they're almost done with this carpenter house. And we will make this bed go to the carpenter just because it's his house, obviously. So I like to keep things together, and I like making having the town make sense. Like, I usually like to have I usually have a couple that are farmers, and they live in their cottage, and sometimes whenever I hire like a third one, I have them like as a boarder or something. I don't know, I just like to make these little stories up while I'm going along, because as the game says, it's a game of stories and lore, and I think they did an amazing job with it. Rabbit, what are you doing? We're gonna put you right there until we get a stone tunnel door, but that won't be for a little while until we get some. In fact, I think we will make this next daily update, because we have all those baskets, and it doesn't look like a lot, but it actually is, and we still have some more carrots getting harvested. So I think we should make this one. If not, might be even bad than more than anything, because we really need to start getting that, one, the footman, and two, mason after that. And our farmer is level 1, so he has better speed. I've also been working on the StoneHearth wiki, which needs a lot of things to be put into it. So I'm just putting that in there because I think if someone could, or if anyone could help put in things to it, whether it's just a small comment that someone forgot, or what I'm working on right now, I'm taking all the prices of each trader and putting them into the wiki. The wiki, it needs some more contributions made to it, whether it's small or big. Like, I'm working on the traders' buy prices, like right here. I already have this one in, but like the fur rug and the bolt of leather and all these and all the prices that they buy for, because almost every single time they sell for the same price. In fact, I've never seen it deviate. So it's not almost every time, it is every time. But now we're gonna sell all these fine things for some good money. The crates, the fine large crates, I'm surprised how well they sell for, as well as these lanterns. So the chair, dining table. Alright. Now we're gonna buy one bolt of leather. That's it. I just like to pick those up here and there. It makes it easier for the weaver. We got a Selvin Rook. No, he achieved trap level 2. Jebediah Lessel is our new person. Alright. As I was saying, the wiki, it needs some more contributions. There's several things still missing, but I mean, this is an alpha game, so there's going to be things missing. But just the other day, besides putting in the buy prices, it was talking about enemies, and one of the enemies that was missing was the giant wolf under the animals section. I couldn't find it anywhere else throughout there, just to make sure it wasn't put in, why it wasn't put in the animal section. And so I put that in, and just it's a contribution, because the giant wolf can really be dangerous, and if people don't know about that wolf, it's like, oh, well, I have nothing to worry about, because, I mean, cobalt wolves, well, yeah, they're dangerous, but by that time you should have some pretty good warriors, and we're also promoting this Rain Kellogg to footman. And the feral wolves are fairly easy, but if we have a giant wolf, you usually need 2 footmen. It's like a mid-game, it sometimes spawns, sometimes doesn't. It's more of a rare spawn, but it's there and it can hurt you. So, it looks like we are going to get that stone mall in 18 StoneHearth hours, because we now have our footman. And I'm just going to check around, make sure there's no... By this time there shouldn't be goblins, but just in case. Alright. So, let us make a cottage for 2. And I'm gonna put this right by the farms. I'm actually gonna put this a little bit down a ways. Make room for a stairway. It doesn't look like anything much now, but pretty soon I'll implement roads, because Hearthlings do travel faster on roads, and as well as aesthetical places, like maybe a little square with a fountain in it, or especially when we have the fountain monument for your township, I like to make that a central focus, and sometimes I'll make it in front of a large building that I've made. I'm currently working on a world right now where I'm making a castle. Maybe I'll showcase that one day. Just do a speed run through it, a time lapse. And I think it really adds to the building. So I think aesthetics is a big part of this game, just for the player. I mean, if you just keep it like this and keep putting buildings wherever you want to, it's just kind of like, oh, this looks ugly. I mean, this game isn't all just straight survival and fighting. I mean, you're creating your own story, and with that, you're creating your own town. You're adding your personal touch to it. And if your personal touch is putting buildings everywhere, then you make it work how you want to. But in this case, we're going to have buildings that are like this. Alright, so what is our net worth? It's almost 2,000. So I think around day 8, between now and day 8, we should get the Royal Herald, which will propose the township trade deal, I guess you could call it. But what we really need them to work on is the mine once they are done with that cottage, which should bring us over 2,000. And really, besides that, we're depending on food for the next daily update, which we can't do a whole lot about right now. We just have to wait for him to gather more food. I And of course we can harvest these bushes, which does help a little bit. We have our trapper constantly going, which is really helps your food. I bet we probably wouldn't have even, well, if we had barely gotten that food for the daily update, because you get so much jerky from the traps, as well as pelts, which help with the weaver, because to wait for pelts is just a pain. You really want to have an abundance of resources, or else it takes a while to get things done, especially with the township for the guildmaster, which I usually use as a lean back to, because the Church of Plenty is a lot harder to do with the food donation boxes, but that one might be done as a backup. In fact, we'll do that one as a backup if we can't get military done. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do the military one. So, the Royal Herald should come soon. Simple merchant. Alright, I've had to find rugs and garments. So let me sell first. Sell those. That was quite a bit of money. Alright, so now we're gonna buy a padded vest for our guy. Then we're gonna buy those two things. And then we're gonna buy a bolt of cloth. And that should be good. I don't like to get the decorations as much, because I usually don't find a way to use those. The Gilded Crimson Rug I might use for like a fancy building, if we create like a castle or something, but a castle takes a lot of effort. And in my other world I'm creating a castle right now, so maybe I'll show you what it can look like. Carpenter is level 5 now, and our footman has picked up the padded vest. And trader will be back in an hour, in 0 hours. We'll be back in seconds. And then we can get that stone wall, because we still do not have a mason yet, which is probably going to be the next thing. Yes. Alright. Speaking of the mason, we've made our daily report. Leah Fenton. Alright. We should be able to make this, yes. Let's put that up at the top, right after that. We can make the shepherd's crook, we can make the archer's bell. I'm gonna make the shepherd's crook, actually, because it would be nice to get him a little bit earlier than we do have him. And UI error. Okay, that's fine. Just wait for it to reload. Sometimes that'll happen. Usually it's just that, and all you have to do is just press F5 and it's fixed. And once you're done there, we're going to undeploy that, since you have one right in there. No spare ladders. Sometimes I get ladders that are stuck either right here or right by that bed in there, and that can be very annoying. Alright, so if we have a 6, that would be great. I don't think we do. So Helen Nonik, you are going to become our mason. Congratulations. And Bader's approaching. Varanus. Okay, so this is one where we want its skin. That sounds wrong. Where we want its skin for the military monument. They're pretty simple to fight. I mean, I have a stone maul and a rough wooden shield, and I've taken hardly any damage. So watch this fight. I think I can let them go. Because he's focused on them, he won't fight them, and they won't bother him. So, and there's our Varanus skin. So that's 1 down. We need 2. And what is our net worth? Oh, okay, we need to get that up just a little bit more. So we can probably do a tiny cottage for the shepherd once we get one. I like to do it just kind of out of the way, and then in the back we have a door with, and then we'll have fence around it. So I'm gonna put this tiny cottage here, and I'm gonna edit it, and I'm gonna put a just normal wooden door right in the back, as well as 2 lanterns. And this time I'm gonna save this as a shepherd's. Alright. And build, yes, start building. So it's just pretty much the wooden cottage for one. Tiny cottage. But it has a door in the back. And I need to modify the cook's kitchen because I accidentally added the road on the same thing. Pretty soon we'll get that mason's workshop too. Speaking of the mason, we need to get the workbench. We don't have a whole lot of stone right now, but we can fix that once we're done with this building. Okay. And that's all that we need to place. We'll just wait for that. Alright, I think that will do it. And this will probably be put in 2 parts when you see it. But 2 or 3 parts. That has been StoneHearth, and we will be back later. Please make sure to subscribe, leave a like. You can comment. I will look at those since there usually aren't many. You don't have to if you don't want to. That's fine. And thank you for watching. As dawn sets on StoneHearth.